Here's a question for you. What if the very thing you think is holding you back, your age, is actually the most powerful tool that you have? Today, I'm answering your biggest questions about purpose, motivation, and starting fresh at any stage. So, if you've ever wondered, is it too late to make an impact? Stick around. This episode just might change the way you see yourself. Before we start, if you're new, welcome. If you're a regular, as I always say, welcome back to Aging with Grace and Style, where we celebrate the journey of growing older with confidence, grace, and a touch of sass. I'm your host, Valerie Hatcher, and I'm excited for you to join our community of fabulous women as we navigate the joys and challenges of life after 50. So grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and let's get started. So I want to start today's episode with a reflection on something that's been on my mind lately. It's the idea of aging with purpose. You know, every year we gather these incredible life experiences, little lessons, and even some not so little challenges that shape us. And I've come to see that purpose doesn't fade with age. If anything, it only grows stronger and it becomes more meaningful. I like to think of it as refining our purpose to fit the woman that we are today. I recently read a great newsletter from a fellow content creator, Nikki Saunders, and she shared a message that I think resonates not only with creators, but with all of us as we grow older. She talked about how there's a space for content creators over 35 and how our experience and wisdom are exactly what make our voices valuable and powerful. One thing she said that really stood out to me was, your age isn't your weakness, it's your superpower. And that's something that I want to embrace and encourage all of us to celebrate. So often we hear the phrase over the hill or other cliches about getting older as if age is some kind of limitation. But I believe that with age comes clarity, resilience, and honestly, a lot less tolerance for nonsense. That, my friend, is our superpower, not just in the world of content creation, but in every aspect of life. The wisdom, the experience, the growth, it's all part of who we are and it's worth sharing. So if you've been feeling hesitant about starting something new or making a change because of your age, then I hope this reminder encourages you to lean into it, whether it's a new hobby, a career move, or even just showing up authentically in your life. Remember that your age is your superpower. And with that, I'm trying something a little different today. I thought it would be fun to open up the floor, imaginary floor, and answer some of your questions in this, let's call it Ask Me Anything episode. So many of you reach out with amazing questions about staying motivated, embracing purpose, and living with style and confidence at any age. I thought, why not bring those questions here so we can explore them together? I'll be answering a few of the most asked questions and, of course, throwing in some tips, stories, and even busting a few myths along the way. I hope that it feels like a conversation between girlfriends and that you'll walk away with a few new ideas or insights to carry into your own journey. So, without further ado, let's dive into your questions. Number one, what inspired you to start this podcast? This is the question that I love answering because it takes me back to the core of my journey. So I started this podcast as a space where we could talk openly about all the things that impact women over 50, from style and wellness to purpose and growth, because I found that at that time, we were often left out of a conversation. We have so much wisdom and strength to share, and I wanted to create a platform that celebrates that. One day, I was looking for content that spoke to where I was in life, and I realized that there was a gap. There's so much out there that's geared toward younger audiences, but I knew that there were women out there just like me wanting real talk on experiences that we've gone through or that we're going through now. At that time, it was a few years ago, there weren't nearly as many over 50 content creators as there are today. That's about when I decided to create a space for us. And it's been an incredible journey. But there's this misconception that social media and podcasting are young people's games, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Our experiences and perspectives are actually what make us valuable. Age isn't a limitation, it's an asset, and our voices are needed now more than ever. So if you're thinking about starting your own podcast or blog or social media presence, then here are a couple of things that have helped me along the way. One, start small. You don't need a fancy setup. I know when I was starting, friends told me the same thing. Just begin with what you have, even if it's for one post or an episode a week. Number two, embrace your unique voice. Your story and perspective are your superpowers, and don't be afraid to share them. And three, connect with other creators. This has been and continues to be huge for me on this journey. Building a network of support and community, it makes the journey easier and more enjoyable. Question number two. How do you find and hold on to your purpose as you age, especially when life keeps changing? You know, this is a powerful question because purpose isn't something that you find once and you hold on to forever. It's something that shifts and it grows with us. I see purpose as a continuous journey. As we move through different stages, or our purpose, it often evolves to match who we are at each chapter of life. And that's really a beautiful thing. So there was a time when my purpose was all about family and career. But as I moved into this stage of life, I found myself wanting to inspire and uplift other women. Starting this podcast became part of my purpose because it allowed me to share what I've learned and to empower others to embrace their journey. It's okay for our purpose to change. It means that we're growing. Many people think purpose is a one-time discovery, but it's not. Purpose is like a thread that weaves through our lives, adapting as we change and grow. Each chapter brings new insights and new ways to live with purpose. So, if you're exploring a new sense of purpose or you're feeling a shift, then here's something that I've learned that might be helpful. Reflect on what excites you now. Purpose isn't about what you used to love. It's about what makes you feel fulfilled today. And embrace change. Allow your purpose to shift and to evolve as you do without feeling like you have to cling to old definitions. Question 3. How do you stay motivated, especially with so many responsibilities? Girl, motivation is something that I think we all struggle with at times, especially when life gets busy. For me, it's less about feeling fired up every day because Lord knows I don't. And it's more about staying connected with my why. When I remember the impact that I want to make, it keeps me going. And sometimes staying motivated means setting boundaries and saying no to things that just don't align with my goals. This is a continuous work in progress for me. There was a time when I felt like I was constantly on the go. And sometimes I still feel that way now, saying yes to everything because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. But I realized that I was stretching myself way too thin and losing my motivation. Now, I try to be much more intentional about what I commit to, and that has made a world of difference for me. People often think that motivation is about always being positive and energized, but real motivation is about consistency. It's about showing up even on the days when you don't feel 100%. For instance, I thought a time or two about not releasing this podcast episode this week. I just felt like I had too much other stuff going on, but as you can see, I'm here. Consistency is important. And for me, motivation is more about the resilience than the energy. So as you can imagine, motivation can be tricky to hold on to, especially when life gets busy. Here's some things that I do to keep myself focused. Number one, set small, achievable goals. So breaking tasks into smaller steps keeps you focused and motivated. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I sit down with a pen and some paper and I just break things down into smaller, more manageable steps. 2, protect your energy. Prioritize the things that align with your values and your purpose, and don't be afraid to say no. And 3, find your why. When you're clear about why you're doing something, it becomes easier to push through the harder days. Question 4, how do you handle self-doubt or fear of starting something new at this stage in life? So self-doubt is something that I think we all face no matter our age. But I found that one of the gifts of getting older is learning how to navigate that doubt. I try to see it as a sign that I'm growing. I remind myself that every step, even the small ones, is progress. When I first started this podcast, I had my share of doubts. I wondered, and I sometimes still wonder, if people would listen, if my voice mattered in a crowded space. But I took a deep breath, I focused on my purpose, and I just started. Was it perfect? Heck no. And it still isn't perfect. But taking that leap taught me that I was capable of more than I thought. And here's another example for you. I was recently appointed as social media marketing and communications director at my church. It's a volunteer position. And sure, I do social for me because it's mine, and I feel I can feel my way through. If I decide I want to post something one day, great. If I don't, or if I want to change things up midstream, it's fine because it's mine. But on a larger scale, like the church, this is different. So while on my own social, every day is still a learning experience. I'm constantly trying to figure out what works for my community, how to pivot to keep them engaged, because things change. But again, that's for me. With this new role, I feel like I need to work hard to succeed. Like everybody's watching, even though in reality, I know they're not. But our mind starts to play games with us. And it's going to take time to figure all this out and to figure out what's going to resonate with the audience. Girl, so much has gone through my head, but I have to trust God, my pastor, and my knowledge and just go for it. So see, self-doubt and fear, they're normal. There's a common belief that new beginnings are only for the young. But life is full of opportunities for growth at every stage. Starting new later in life is not only possible, but it's often when we're the most ready to handle it with grace and resilience. And finally, question 5. What advice would you give someone who feels they've missed their chance to make an impact? First, let me say this loud and clear. It is never too late to make an impact. Every experience, every lesson, every moment of resilience you've developed is valuable. The world needs that wisdom. And I believe that our unique stories are a gift to share, no matter when we start. I know someone who didn't start their passion project until they were in their 60s. She felt like it was too late, but she decided just to go for it anyway. And now she has made a tremendous impact on others. Seeing her journey reminds me that the right time is always now. There's no expiration date on making a difference. People often believe that if you haven't made an impact by a certain age, then you've missed your chance. But impact isn't about age. It's about courage, authenticity, and sharing your unique gifts. Every stage of life brings new opportunities to make a difference. If you're wondering if it's too late to make an impact, here are a couple of reminders that have helped me embrace this journey. One, start where you are. You don't need a grand plan. Now, I'd like for you to have a plan, but it doesn't have to be a grand plan. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just take a small step toward what matters to you. Two, embrace your story. Your experiences give you unique perspective that can deeply resonate with others. And three, don't compare. Focus on your journey and your impact, regardless of what others may be doing. So that's it. I want to thank you so much for being here for today's Ask Me Anything. I hope that these answers gave you a little boost and reminded you that this chapter of life is filled with so much potential. There's always room for purpose, for growth, and connection. Our age isn't a limit, it's the strength that shapes our journey. If this episode resonated with you, then like, subscribe, and most importantly, share it with someone who you feel would benefit. We're all in this together, my friends, so keep embracing every moment with grace and style. Now have a beautiful week, and I will see you next time on Aging with Grace and Style.